after these 15 months that this primary season has lasted too long. People are worried that the Democratic Party is getting divided, that there are Obama supporters here, Clinton supporters there, and everybody's stressed and nervous and anxious, and some folks are dispirited. And I am not in this race to run against Senator Clinton, but I am running to change how business is done in Washington. I do believe it's not enough just to hire somebody who knows how to play the game better. I think you need somebody who's going to put an end to the game plan. You know that the challenges that we face can't be laid at the feet of just one party, because the truth is that we have been dealing with some of these problems for decades, since before most of you were born. We've been talking about health care since Harry Truman. Decade after decade, we've been talking about how are we going to provide health care to people who need it. And yet, every 4 years, despite the promises, despite the big plans, despite the unveiling of this will be a new approach, nothing ever happens. Why is that? Well, part of it is that the drug companies, the insurance companies, spent $1 billion over the last decade on lobbying, on campaign contributions, on PR. So is it any surprise then that the health care laws that emerged from Congress are very good for drug and insurance companies, but not so good for you? So, the same is true on energy. We've been talking about energy independence since the 70s. Since I was in junior high. And yet, the only thing that's changed since the early 70s is we actually import more oil. We send $1 billion a day to foreign nations. ExxonMobil made $11 billion in profits last quarter. You're paying $360, $370 at the pump. And in the bargain, we're melting the polar ice caps. Why is that? Well, it turns out when Bush put Cheney in charge of energy policy, Cheney met with the environmental groups once, he met with the renewable energy groups once, he met with the oil and gas companies 40 times. I think that we have to put an end to the dominance of special interests in Washington if we want to deliver for the American people. If we're going to lower gas prices, if we're going to have an intelligent energy policy, if we're going to provide health care to the millions of people who need it, if we're going to make college more affordable, then Congress can't be subject to lobbyists and special interests and their agendas. That's why at the beginning of this campaign I said that I will not take money from Federal Registered lobbyists. I won't take money from PACs. And people said, well, how are you going to fund your campaign? I said the American people will fund my campaign. And so you know that I will be accountable to you. Those lobbyists, they might as well get clear that they're not going to be setting the agenda anymore, because they have not funded my campaign. They will not run our White House. They will not run out the voices of the American people who are taking on the United States of America. My opponent doesn't think this is a problem. She says that, look, lobbyists represent real Americans. But I don't think they represent you. I don't think they speak for you. I think that we cannot expect to change the agenda drastically if we are not changing how we finance campaigns and how responsive we are and accountable we are to the American people. So that's a choice that you have on Tuesday, May 6th. Now, Second choice. I don't think we're going to change how business is done in Washington unless our leaders start speaking honestly about our problems. And if we're serious about energy, then yes, we'll investigate price gouging. Yes, we'll go after windfall profits. But most importantly, what we will do is we will invest in alternative energies. We will raise the solar and wind and biodiesel, putting millions of people to work in green jobs, building windmills and solar panels, and creating better buildings and better life. That is the future. That's the leadership we need. That's the truth that you need to hear. And by the way, when I proposed that I would raise fuel efficiency standards on cars, I didn't do it in front of an environmental group. I did it in Detroit, in front of the automakers. I told them I had to change some ways. And I have to admit, the room was really quiet. Nobody clapped. When I made my proposal to roll back the Bush tax cuts, I didn't do it in front of a union hall where I'd get a big applause. I did it on Wall Street in front of corporate executives and told them that our country works best when Main Street and Wall Street are prospering, not just when some are able to achieve the American dream. My point is that we need honesty and truthfulness from our elected officials, because otherwise we can't mobilize the American people to solve these problems. And we're going to need the American people's support. We're going to need a mandate if we are going to actually tackle global warming, if we're actually going to tackle our education problems, if we're going to actually tackle health care. We're going to have a mandate from you, because you'll be the ones who are holding Congress accountable, and you'll be the ones who are holding me accountable. And that requires a lot of conversation about what we have so much to achieve. We can stop giving tax breaks to companies that ship jobs overseas. Give those tax breaks to companies that are investing here in the United States of America. We can invest in our infrastructure. We can invest not just our roads and our bridges, but also our research capacity, our scientific capacity. We know how powerful the research triangle has been in North Carolina. We can duplicate that all across America if we increase money for basic research and basic science. That's what will drive our economy for years to come. We can transform our education system. We know what needs to be done. If we invest in early childhood education, we can close the achievement gap. To make sure every child has a chance to prepare when they get to start school. We don't have to just talk about how great teachers are. We can reward our teachers for the greatest of living high salaries. Give them more support. And I don't know about you, but I think it's about time we make college affordable, so we're going to provide a $4,000 tuition credit every student, every year, in exchange for community service, in exchange for national service. We're going to keep doing it. Teach for America. We're going to help each other. We're going to do it all. We're investing in you, young America. You and us back. Together we'll take this country forward. We're going to roll back those Bush tax cuts for the wealthiest Americans. And we're going to give tax breaks to middle-class Americans. People making $75,000. People making $50,000. People making $30,000. Teachers and bus drivers and postal workers. Social workers. You'll save $1,000 offsetting your payroll tax, the most regressive tax we have. And if you're a senior citizen on a fixed income and you're only bringing in $50,000 a year or less, you'll save money because we're not going to have you pay taxes on your Social Security.